Some animals are exactly what they seem. Take sharks, for example. They look terrifying, and they definitely are, so it's usually easy to know what you're dealing with. But then, there are those creatures that appear to be your adorable, furry friends, only to reveal themselves as shockingly dangerous. From the ocean's smartest creatures to the fluffy little critters that can really ruin your day, here are 20 cute animals that are surprisingly deadly. Number 20. Hickory tussock moth. Fuzzy white and black hickory tussock moth caterpillars are frequently visible in the fall and can occasionally be found in huge numbers. There are no documented instances of systematic allergic responses to these hairs. However, they may irritate the skin of those who are sensitive to them. The northeastern region of North America, from Maine and New Brunswick to South Carolina and west to Wisconsin and Illinois, is where hickory tussock moths are commonly found. They also exist, but less often, throughout the southwest into Texas and Mexico. Young caterpillars have white setae and black markings. The white and black setae of older caterpillars, which may reach lengths of up to 4.5 centimeters, are organized in tufts along the back and frequently appear as a set of black pencils at the front and rear. Tan to light brown in appearance, adult moths have rows of cream-colored dots and cream-colored underwings. There is just one generation per year. In hickory tussock moths, from July through September, caterpillars are active, and adult moths fly from May to June. On the underside of leaves, eggs are placed in groups of up to 100 or more. The immature larvae graze haphazardly on one or a few leaves that are close to them. More solitary and feeding alone or in small groups, older larvae grow more solitary. Occasionally, outbreaks of populations lead to local defoliation. When mature caterpillars depart from their mother plant in search of a safe location to spin a cocoon, they can frequently come into contact with people. Most adults are drawn to lights at night, so be aware and turn out your nightlight unless you want this big nasty bug in bed with you. Number 19. Dingo. "A dingo ate my baby" is one of Australia's most well-known sayings. When a young mother shouted out these words in 1980, close to Uluru, it sparked a protracted legal battle that saw the infant's parents first convicted of murder, and then ultimately the conviction overturned after it was determined that a dingo really had eaten the baby. After a Hollywood production with Meryl Streep, the dingo's reputation as an infant murderer was well established, perhaps a bit unjustly, as this wolf cousin poses minimal danger to people. Even if Australia's greatest predator occasionally becomes a nuisance by preying on herds of sheep, Australian farmers have employed a number of strategies, such as using guard donkeys to push the dingoes away from sheep and erecting the largest fence in the world to deter them. That's right, guard donkeys. They can't be all horrible, though. Some Australians even keep them as pets. The oldest dingo fossil was discovered in Western Australia, and it goes back 3,450 years. However, according to genetic studies, the dingo arrived in Australia 8,300 years ago, but the group of humans who brought them there is still unknown. The lack of change in dingo morphology over the last 3,500 years shows that no artificial selection had been used during this time. Number 18. The cone snail. It's one of your worst nightmares, but there's no denying it's also a snail, and a snail killer. I bet you didn't think so, but this one is. They begin their lives in the sea. Many divers have tried to get close to this beautiful snail only to regret it, assuming they made it out of the water in the first place. When threatened, the cone snail's sharp needle-shaped proboscis turns into a stabbing tool. The proboscis can inject enough venom to kill 10 people and is sharp and powerful enough to go through diving gloves. You won't know you've been jabbed until it's too late because this little snail injects you with a powerful painkiller. In addition, there's no antivenom anywhere on Earth. Your only option is to keep trying and pray for the best because this is one snail you never want to mess with. Number 17. Dolphins. Don't be misled by the smiling children and dolphins in the photos. Despite how happy they appear to be in general, no, dolphins are not grinning. It's just the way their face is shaped. Although dolphins may appear to be smiling at us, their smiles are actually deceptions. Even sharks are frightened of these murderers. You get the snout if you mess with a dolphin. This is why sharks are afraid of dolphins. Dolphin snouts are biological hammers because they're made of highly strong, dense bone. Dolphins will position themselves several yards beneath a shark and then burst upward, sticking their nose into the shark's soft underbelly, inflicting severe internal wounds. Sharks like eating everything smaller than themselves, even helpless young dolphins. When a shark decides to attack a young dolphin, a group of enraged dolphins may also decide to attack the shark. The main advantage dolphins have against sharks is intellect. Dolphins can swiftly navigate the ocean using echolocation to escape or pounce on sharks. Sharks are sly predators. Therefore, they have the best chance of killing a dolphin when it's unaware or in a blind spot. But if the initial attempt fails, the dolphin can simply flee or reassemble to fight the shark with the rest of the pod. Dolphins have excellent street smarts or water smarts, maybe, which is complemented by their extraordinary speed. They're an elusive meal that's not worth the pursuit, because they can swim faster than most shark species. Number 16. The puffer. One of the most bizarre creatures on Earth, not only in the ocean, is the pufferfish. Every Minecraft player is aware of the remarkable defensive abilities of these awkward-looking, slowly moving fish. When threatened, they swiftly ingest air or water, which causes their loose skin to ball up, and the many spikes that usually lie flat on the epidermis to rise, making for a far less appetizing meal. As most people are aware, vivid colors in the animal kingdom sometimes act as a warning, and pufferfish are no exception. There are 120 distinct species of pufferfish, all of which come in a variety of forms and sizes. This underwater hedgehog is also extremely lethal. So, if a brave or hungry predator eats all of the spikes, he or she will be in for a horrible surprise. The chemical tetrodotoxin, which is 1,200 times more poisonous than cyanide and may kill up to 30 people if there's no antidote, is indeed present in fatal doses in every pufferfish. Therefore, it may surprise you to find that this extremely deadly fish, with the toxic portions of the fish removed and just the safe bits remaining, is a popular Japanese delicacy. If the poison from the fugu isn't removed correctly, with precision, diners could die from the toxin. However, leaving small amounts of the poison in the fugu leaves the diners with numb lips and a little bit of an altered state of mind. Number 15. Puss caterpillar. The southern flannel moth, often called the puss moth, belongs in the moth family Megalopygidae. The inch-long larva resembles a miniature Persian cat because of its long, luxurious setae that resemble hair, which may be why it was given the name puss. They come in a range of colors, including golden brown, dark charcoal gray, and a downy grayish white. It frequently has a bright orange stripe that runs lengthwise. Early-stage larvae may have coiled fur, giving them a cottony, puffy appearance. The middle instar is unattractive and has a bad hair day look since it lacks the distinguishing tail. The fur of the larvae contains poisonous spikes that cause significant pain when they come into contact with human skin. The adult moth has hairy legs and fuzzy black feet in addition to lengthy fur and hues ranging from dull orange to lemon yellow. Because of its stinging spines, the caterpillar is regarded as a potentially deadly bug. When the epidermis is in contact with the fur-like spines of the caterpillar, a grid-like hemorrhagic papular eruption with acute radiating pain results. The agony is described by victims as being comparable to a broken bone, blunt force trauma, or even white-hot pain. Some of the unusual symptoms include burning, swelling, nausea, headaches, gastrointestinal trouble, rashes, blisters, and sometimes chest pain, numbness, or breathing difficulties. It's not smart to pet this pussycat. Number 14. Koala. With just one glance, koalas can effortlessly win the hearts of both adults and children. They're marsupials rather than bears, though. But don't be deceived. Although they are silent, these creatures are aggressive and have a powerful bite. You should take that into consideration when trying to decide whether or not to visit koalas. Now that you know that they're actually ferocious, avoid those teeth and make sure they have previous familiarity with people. Only when provoked or feeling threatened do koalas attack. Due to human intrusion and other possible risks to themselves or their young, they become hostile. Additionally, koalas are known to fight one another. Koalas turn into heavy eaters as they age, consuming up to 1 kilogram of eucalyptus leaves every day. They're picky as well and will only choose the healthiest, best-tasting leaves from all the trees they call home. Eucalyptus leaves are extremely tough and toxic. Koalas are fortunate to have a lengthy digestive organ called a cecum that enables them to break down the leaves without suffering any damage. John Price, a personal assistant to New South Wales Governor John Hunter, made the first documented mention of the koala. Price came upon the Koloween on January 26, 1798, while on a trip to the Blue Mountains, but it took nearly a century for historical records of Australia to publish his report. When his 2 Aboriginal escorts brought back 2 koala feet they intended to eat after returning from a hunt in 1802, French-born explorer Francis Louis Berrelier was introduced to the creature. The Zoological Society of London acquired their first koala in 1881. According to William Alexander Forbes, the Society's procurator, the animal died accidentally when a wash-hand's heavy lid fell on it, and it was unable to extricate itself. Poor little guy. Number 13. Surgeonfish. Now let's meet the striped surgeonfish. These colorful fish inhabit the Indian and Western Pacific Oceans and are around a foot long. They're particularly well known off the waters of Hawaii, Polynesia, the Philippines, and Japan. They frequently stay towards the bottom and may also be spotted near the Great Barrier Reef. Given that everything else in the water is essentially attempting to eat everything else virtually constantly, the majority of what is above them is therefore quite worrying. The striped surgeonfish, however, doesn't seem to mind because its back is covered with a huge fan of razor-sharp spines that resemble a surgeon's knife. What's really strange is these spines are also poisonous. It will therefore envenomate you while also slicing you apart. The inhabitants of American Samoa respect the fish since it's such a badass. Number 12. Giant anteater. They lack teeth and are also blind and deaf. However, anteaters may be lethal. According to a recent case study, a brutal anteater assault in northern Brazil claimed the life of one hunter barely 2 years after another man perished in a comparable occurrence with one of the long-nosed beasts. The experts, who recently reported their results in the journal Wilderness and Environmental Medicine, believe that the assaults should serve as a warning to anybody encroaching on anteater habitat. The largest of the 4 remaining known anteater species, known as giant anteaters, inhabit savanna-like habitats in South and Central America and may reach lengths of up to 7 feet when they're fully grown. They have 4 pointed claws on each of their 4 limbs, which they may use to attack termite mounds and anthills, as well as cause lethal wounds to people. In April 2007, an anteater at the Florencio Varela Zoo killed a zookeeper with its front claws. Ramon, the anteater in question, was known for his aggression. The enormous anteater is a comical figure due to its large nose and vicious antithesis to the jaguar in mythology and culture of the Aboriginal people of the Amazonian basin. In One Ship Myth, a jaguar accepted an anteater's challenge to a breath-holding contest below the river. The anteater leapt out of the water and snatched the jaguar's pelt, leaving the jaguar with the anteater's fur after the two removed their pelts and submerged. So now the jaguar has the spotted anteater coat, which looks kind of cool, I think. Maybe it got a better deal that time. Number 11. Alatina alata. The box jellyfish species Alatina alata, sometimes known as the sea wasp, is found in the Pacific, Indian, and Atlantic Oceans, as well as the Caribbean and Arabian Seas. Alatina alata stings result in a self-limiting rash and discomfort that often goes away without medical intervention in 20 to 24 hours. Rarely, victims experience widespread responses, ongoing discomfort, and/or a recurrent rash. Although the stings of this box jellyfish have not yet been proven to be fatal, the agony they cause can be quite intense. It's renowned for congregating off the shores and in the bays of Hawaii and other Pacific islands, as well as on Pakistan's beaches in the Arabian Sea. Compared to the other species we've covered here, its sting is minimal, but some unpleasantness and discomfort should still be anticipated. In order to lessen discomfort and swelling after being stung by an alatina, sufferers commonly rinse the area with vinegar and use hot or cold therapies. However, because it is categorized as a box jelly, the sting has the potential to cause Irukandji syndrome. Therefore, it's crucial to be cautious and get medical help right away if you're stung. The first description of the so-called winged box jellyfish appeared in Les Annales Zoologiques, a book written by René Primevera in the era of global scientific discovery in 1830 under the name Charybdia alata. Number 10. Mute swans. Swans, which are related to geese and ducks, are regarded as the most attractive and graceful members of the 3 waterfowl species. They certainly seem to be peaceful creatures. The male mute swan, on the other hand, is fiercely possessive during the breeding season despite being mute. In fact, it's one of the most dangerous birds in the world, according to experts. One of the most aggressive species of waterfowl in the world is the mute swan, especially while breeding and raising young. By attacking, injuring, and sometimes even killing other birds, mute swans can chase away native waterfowl from their breeding and feeding grounds. Mute swans are very devoted to their partner and young, and they can be violent when defending their nests. When mute swans defend themselves, they often hiss loudly first, and if that doesn't scare away the predator or intruder, they'll attack physically. Small waterfowl, including ducks, are typically grabbed by the swan's beak and pulled or hurled clear of the swan or its young. Swans strike by hitting the danger with bony spurs on their wings and biting with their enormous bill. Despite frequently being shared as an urban myth, the swan's wings are not strong enough to break an adult man's leg. Number 9. Cassowary. Experts think that most dinosaurs were feathered rather than scaly, like modern reptiles, since birds are now understood to be direct descendants of dinosaurs. The Australian cassowary, which is unquestionably the creature that now most closely resembles a dinosaur, seems to corroborate this idea. The so-called deadliest bird in the world is wary of people and domestic dogs but will use force if required. Their attacks may be quite severe because of the powerful pecking beak and the claw's extreme sharpness and strength. Many documented deaths have occurred. However, they remain uncommon. In order to demonstrate that they, too, have a pea brain from the dinosaurs, cassowaries will also attack and break vehicles, and their own reflections in glass panes. The Australian rainforest is now home to just 2,000 of these little velociraptors, due to the invasion of 24 million invasive domestic pigs, which have already caused the extinction of 100 species of native flora and animals. Perhaps now is the right time to intervene and save the illustrious angry bird from oblivion. Number 8. Stingray. We were all saddened to discover in 2006 that internationally renowned television personality Steve Irwin had passed away at the age of 44. For a man who had spent his whole life interacting with some of the most deadly animals in the world, learning that he'd been killed by a stingray was all the more shocking. Most of the time, stingrays are regarded as being rather harmless. Since 1945, just 2 people have perished in Australian waters after being stung by stingrays, Irwin being one of them. They had bad luck both times because the venom was delivered to their hearts by the stinging barb that fell into their torso. It serves to demonstrate that, in some circumstances, the fish we like swimming with may be lethal. As a result of the venom's anesthetic properties, ancient Greek doctors used it to numb patients undergoing dental surgery. That's pretty cool. Number 7. Bombardier beetle. The bombardier beetle has huge eyes and a massive but giving it a borderline cute appearance. However, when challenged, its abdomen releases a poisonous spray that's almost as hot as boiling water. Bombardier emissions come in a variety of speeds, from sluggish leaks to quick bursts that are hot enough to burn and discolor human flesh. The predator's eyes and respiratory systems are irritated by their corrosive defenses, frequently causing excruciatingly painful yet brief incapacitation. Usually, the beetle twists its body to point the jet in the direction of the stimulus. Some African bombardier beetles have gland apertures that can rotate roughly 270 degrees and shoot between the insect's legs, allowing them to accurately discharge fluid in a broad variety of directions. A fifth of the mixture evaporates due to the reaction's extreme exothermic nature, which causes the fluid to heat up to over 100 degrees Celsius. The entry valves from the reluctant storage chambers are forced to close as a result of the pressure buildup, safeguarding the beetle's internal organs. A loud popping sound is made as the boiling, pungent liquid is forcibly ejected through an output valve. The hydroquinone and hydrogen peroxide that the beetle's glands contain enable them to spray their chemical around 20 times. This is sufficient to kill a predator in some circumstances. Creationists and supporters of intelligent design have cited the bombardier beetle's defensive mechanism as an exceptional example of irreducible complexity due to a mix of highly exothermic processes, boiling hot fluids, and explosive discharge. However, according to biologists like taxonomist Mark Isaac, the process might have evolved gradually. Number 6. Brazilian rainbow boa. A terrestrial species, the rainbow boa is renowned for its alluring iridescent or holographic shine, brought on by structural color. Because they are nocturnal, rainbow boas are most active at night. Semi-arboreal in nature, this species may be found both on the ground and in trees. They are considered competent swimmers and are known to spend time in bodies of water. The Brazilian rainbow boa is the kind of rainbow boa most frequently seen in the pet trade. Significant quantities were shipped from Suriname in the 1980s and the early 1990s, but today fewer are exported, and the majority of those for sale are captive bred. Brazilian rainbow boas kept in captivity can survive for up to 30 years with proper care. Brazilian rainbows are a well-known subspecies due to their exceptional looks. Males grow to be between 5 and 6 feet long. The length of large females may reach 6 to 7 feet. Although stunning, they are not enormous snakes, and they never grow to a size where one person cannot manage them on their own. The young rainbow boas are aggressive, though this makes sense, given that they will likely be eaten by anything that comes across them in the wild. To tame them, regular handling is required. Number 5. Red lionfish. One particularly hazardous species of scorpionfish is the lionfish. It is a sight to behold with its warning red, white, and black stripes covering its body and a variety of lethal, toxic spines jutting from it. A powerful warrior and fearsome predator, the lionfish has a ravenous hunger for anything tiny enough to fit in its teeth. It has no natural predators, despite the fact that sharks and enormous sea worms have been observed attacking this fish-baked Sherman tank. The population of lionfish is often maintained under control in their natural habitat, which includes the reefs, corals, and lagoons of the South Pacific and Indian Oceans. However, in 1992, Hurricane Andrew wreaked havoc on the Florida coast, among other things, demolishing an aquarium. 6 lionfish were released into the Caribbean as a result, swiftly becoming one of the most destructive invasive species, violently devouring other native species and growing to substantially larger sizes than previously noted. Environmentalists are trying to stop the unstoppable lionfish from expanding any further after they have already spread all over the western Atlantic, wreaking havoc in their wake. Number 4. Eight-spotted crab spider. The hollow fangs employed by crab spiders to inject poison into their victims cause 2 puncture wounds, much like any other arachnid bite. Venom from crab spiders is potent enough to kill prey that is considerably larger than themselves. Although crab spider bites can be unpleasant, their venom is not considerably harmful to humans, and their bites seldom cause skin breakdown. Due to the size of crab spiders, a bite on the fingernail can be as painful as being struck with a hammer, resulting in discoloration of the finger and even radiating pain into the hand. The bite symptoms go away after a few hours, although the bite site may also swell up. Venoms are frequently complicated combinations of many sorts of poisons. Venomous animal toxins are utilized to treat a variety of illnesses, such as thrombosis, arthritis, and severe malignancies. The potential use of venom toxins for a variety of different illnesses is being researched via venomic studies. In 2013, 57,000 people died from envenomation compared to 76,000 in 1990. Over 5,000 research studies have examined the potential for venoms, which are present in over 173,000 species, to cure a variety of ailments. The study of venom-related proteins and the potential use of certain venom compounds for therapeutic purposes has given rise to the scientific field of venomics. Number 3. The emerald green pit viper. A venomous snake native to Sri Lanka, the green pit viper has a reputation as a fearsome snake. It is one of Sri Lanka's most colorful and alluring snakes. It is nocturnal and arboreal, only sometimes coming down to the ground to look for food during the morning hours. This slow pit viper is typically seen on low bushes. It is extensively dispersed throughout the island's 3 climatic zones, with the exception of the higher hills at an altitude of 1,000 meters and the dry zones. It is frequently seen in plantations. The months of June and July are when it produces live young most of the time, and the average brood size is between 5 and 30. It conceals itself well and typically makes every effort to flee and avoid conflict. The venom has a lot of power and can occasionally be lethal. As a result, urgent medical aid is advised for anyone who is bitten. The majority of green pit viper bites only result in severe pain and edema, though. Number 2. Golden poison dart frog. Here is a little frog with a body length of half an inch to 2.5 inches. Can't be too dangerous, right? Wrong. Predators are warned that this little frog is not to be trifled with by its striking color, which ranges from dazzling blues and greens to yellow and black, and a variety of different combinations. They are found in the Amazon jungle. Examples of their natural habitats include subtropical and tropical moist lowland forests. This venom was used by native tribespeople to coat their arrows, giving the poison dart frog its name. When an arrow is fired at a foe, it not only pierces their flesh but carries some of the worst poison found in the forest. At least in the case of the worst kind, the golden poison frog, the poison in these frogs is potent enough to kill 20 adult males. Even though some snakes have developed immunity and attack and consume these frogs, this acts as a powerful predator deterrent. The poisons are constructed of a variety of substances that have significant medicinal value, such as a painkiller 200 times more potent than morphine, heart stimulants, and appetite suppressants. Number 1. The saddleback caterpillar. A moth species that is native to North America has a larval stage that is known as the saddleback caterpillar. Mexico is another place where it can be seen. The bulk of this caterpillar is green, with brown on both ends, and a huge saddle-shaped white ring with a brown in the middle. On either end are 2 horns made of flesh. These areas of the body, along with the majority of the rest of it, are covered in itchy hairs that release an unpleasant venom. People who come into contact with the hairs experience nausea, as well as a painful swelling rash. Rarely, the venom may cause acute urticaria, a systematic illness characterized by headaches, gastrointestinal symptoms, breathing issues, anaphylactic shock, erythrocyte rupture, and bleeding. The hair should be removed from the skin as quickly as possible to prevent further venom transmission. Hairs from the larvae might land on nearby items and even make their way onto the cocoon. They prefer warmer regions like Yucatan, Mexico, although they might also survive in the eastern United States' cooler weather. Gardeners are at the most danger of accidentally coming into contact with the saddleback caterpillar, since it is notorious for having one of the strongest stings and is most frequently found in ornamental plants. So, which of these creatures is most likely to haunt your dreams tonight? What's the most dangerous yet adorable animal you can think of? Let us know in the comments below. And don't forget to check out the other awesome videos popping up on your screen right now. See you next time.